My name is Zafirah and I will be talking a little bit about the Pierpoint Securities Finance Academy, which is the training branch of the business. So good afternoon, good morning, and thanks for joining us today. So what I'm going to be talking about today is introducing the Academy, talking a little bit about myself and my expertise, what area of the business I'm responsible for, and last but certainly not least, we'll have some questions which I'd love to hear your responses, so type your answers in the chat box. So moving on to the next slide there, a little bit about me. So you all are probably quite familiar with Roy, Julian, Jeroen, and I am now involved with the training side of the business. So a little bit about myself. I realized from quite early on in my career, I was quite good at being customer facing and really good at working with people person. So it's no surprises that fast forward to 2020, and I can tell you I've had a career in learning and development for the most part in financial services, working with clients across the different continents on their training initiatives. This really involves understanding how learning should be rolled out that meets business objectives, but also not forgetting putting learners in the driving seat. So being passionate about all things learning, I myself continue to develop my own skill set, and I hold a diploma from the Chartered Institute of Professional Development, which is the CIPD. And that really enables me to work with clients across the board, especially in financial services, understanding how to improve productivity and performance for their teams. So I continue to use those skill sets, keep on top of what's innovative, what's really interesting for different ways of people learning using neuroscience, psychology, so to really bring good training to the forefront. So just a little overview about me on a personal note. I am a little bit of a crazy cat lady. We have 3 cats here who are very pampered and well looked after. I've got a picture of the snail at the bottom there because although I love my garden, I'm absolutely terrified of anything that's creepy crawly related. So just a little bit of an insight that if I do go out in the garden, not without gloves and pretty much a hazmat suit, so I don't get anywhere near anything gross. So that's a little bit about me. Moving on, so please give me some insight onto your motivations for learning. So I've talked about my continuous professional development to best serve my clients. So I would really like to know, and please type your answers in the chat box, what motivated you to learn or continue to learn? So as I've mentioned, we learn subconsciously every day. Please type your answers in the chat box. We'd be really interested to share your thoughts with us on that one. And some ideas here of what I've put some images there is, the focus on being on top of your game, being led by your career because you have to learn as you go along. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to aim for financial success also. So I look forward to some of your answers on the chat box there. Speaking of motivation, actually, I will quickly hand back to Roy to give us his insight of why he's passionate about learning and why he decided to set up the Academy with me. So over to you, Roy.
Okay, thanks, Zafirah, and well done. Look, many of you that have been doing training with my company, FinTuition, over the years will know that, in fact, Zafirah, although she might appear like she's a new member of the team, she and I have actually been working together for about 11 years now. And the thing that's always got me happy about working with Zafirah is she does love the learning and development side. For me, look, this is part of what I see the vision is of securities lending and securities finance generally being part of every developed and developing market. But the challenge for every new market is learning and education about it. You know, it's like you can't get the job without experience, but you can't get experience without the job. So that's why we went online. That's why we tried to make it accessible. This is our second go around at online courses. We tried it in 2012. We had a reasonable amount of success, but technology was clunky and it was ridiculously expensive. So that didn't really go anywhere. So this is the second go around. The other part that I wanted to make certain that we carried on from the past is the other people creating courses are experts. In fact, a couple of them have joined us on this event here. One is Sean Murray from Margin Reform, who has developed the just launched now collateral management course. Collateral management obviously is a critical part of every business today, and will become even more important. So we're really pleased that Sean and Margin Reform provided that course. And the other course, which we're about to launch, is on repo. That is like literally, you know, probably when we get off this call, it'll go live. And that's from Jeff Kidwell, again, a recognized sort of global experts. And that's what the vision for the Academy is: multiple experts, each dealing with their own sort of area of specialty, all in one place for the community. So this is all about spreading the word. So, but led and really driven by Zafirah, who loves learning and development herself, which is what gets me excited.
Thanks, Roy. Really, really good motivation there. So back to what can I do for you? So we have a great team at Peerpoint. Everyone has their own area of expertise. And I see a lot of people nowadays talking about training. It's interesting to note that e-learning is no longer an option. It's a necessity. So if you're not doing e-learning at the moment or have any type of insight into providing e-learning, then that's something you can talk to me about. So in a nutshell, what I can do for you, well, I guess the easiest way of putting it is I can take away the headache of you and everybody in the business thinking about how do you make it successful. I see a lot of department heads, business leaders, line managers struggling to understand what is the best way to develop learning, training, and understand what is the effective way, what is the right way, so many questions. So I aim to do this by helping you by becoming your learning partner, so to speak, which means really understanding your business and your people, which in a sense is the first step we take. So not just throw courses at people, but really understand what is the end goal here: productivity, performance, upskilling, all the above. So fit the right solution for the training need. For example, harnessing technology. I've mentioned e-learning. Roy's mentioned the courses we have, as well as other strategies such as mentoring, coaching, and peer and social learning. So it's not all about let's put someone through a course. I think somebody mentioned in the chat box here, which is fantastic, learning from interesting and passionate people about their subjects, Yes, exactly that. That's called social learning. So furthermore, I'm very aware that training budgets need to work hard and be held accountable. Therefore, I'm always keen to demonstrate your return on investment by incorporating robust evaluation methods, which surprisingly a lot of businesses want and how understand they need it, but don't always know how to put that in place. And I can certainly help you with that, because we always ask the question, well, how do you really know if this training has worked? You should be speaking to me. So this leads me to my next question, actually. Since lockdown, please share with me, since March 2020, it's been quite interesting to see L&D really take off and to thrive and survive and be agile. I think there's a huge focus on training at the moment. So please let me know in the chat box if any of you have spent any time doing continuous professional development. What was the format? I've touched upon that, different people will have different ways of learning. And do you even have a preferred learning format? Because we're increasingly finding that peer-to-peer social learning, learning in bite-sized blended solutions, etc., are are at the forefront of how people absorb ideas. So please write your comments in, and we will share some insights towards the end. So thank you for that. And furthermore, just to highlight what Roy mentioned, over the last few months, my aim really is to work with subject matter experts who sometimes have fantastic knowledge in securities finance, in the business, but not always having the ability to transform that into a learning experience, or how we say a bit of jargon, learner-centric design. So that's how I work with subject matter experts, internal departments within organizations, to pull the best information and make it relevant to the people who are taking the training courses. And from our own academy, having a platform to launch those courses, we have indeed now ready to go the basics of collateral management, which is e-learning for about 9 hours, CISI accredited, which was fantastic. So you will be getting CPD points for that. And likewise with the bond repo, the basics of the fundamentals of bond repo, which is also about 11 hours of learning, and with CISI accreditation. And last but not least, Roy's own course, which continues to go from strength to strength, currently has about 100+ learners, which I'm looking after. And, introduction to securities lending is often used as the benchmark for a lot of organizations' learning strategy. I will hand over back to Roy. So I believe we now head into Q&A, and that's it for me. Oh, you're on mute, Roy.
Well done. For those of you that watch my LinkedIn Live, you'll have recognized that from 12 minutes of it on Sunday night. So thanks, Zafirah. Before I hand over to Jeroen, who's going to run the Q&A, I just wanted to do two things. One is kind of wrap up what we've talked about. And you've heard us talk about a lot of things. Let me give you some practical things. So obviously we do conventional consulting. You want to talk to us about a project, a bespoke assignment, of course we can do that. But structurally, we have 4 products that we'd be happy to talk to you about. One is a revenue accelerator, kind of the things that Jeroen was talking about. One was an ESG oversight and governance, which kind of John touched on. One is kind of benchmark performance assessment, which I'm happy to take people through. And the final one is a risk audit. You shouldn't be in this business unless you truly understand your risk. So those are individual structured products that we actually run. I want to make one other announcement because we're running short of time. At the start of the new year, Zafirah talked about social learning, and people have learned in many different ways, and we've seen comments on how people prefer to do that. So thank you for that. But there is a need and a value, I think, in community learning. And so what we will be launching in the new year is a Peerpoint membership club. So there will be a subscriber list. So it'll be a paid to enter point of view. There'll be exclusive content for members there. We think we'll be taking, some of the issues that we deal with in the training to a more complicated level. There'll be live events, but there'll also be a community there. What a lot of people have asked us for is the opportunity to engage and chat with each other on issues that are relevant, that improve their skills and understanding, and not just listen to trainers or just do courses, whether they're live or online. They want to talk to people and raise issues. So we're going to be hosting that in the new year. I'm super excited about that. I've been focusing on that for a little while now, and many of you will have seen me ask you questions and to complete the questionnaire.